You gonna do the introduction?
You, I think, had the way you wanted to start it. Did you get something on you already?
Probably.
How did that happen?
I washed my hands. Maybe it's just water. It'll dry.
Right. Okay.
All right, go.
Hello.
We're rolling. Go.
Hi. I'm not even sure what we're calling this. So,
We're calling it Tasting with Ron and Lorraine. Drinking with Ron and Lorraine? What do you want to call it?
tasting probably is best.
Tasting.
Tasting.
It
Hello.
sounds more sophisticated.
It does.
All right, so we thought we would do a little bit of not wine tasting on college, so you don't have to buy the wines from us, but
But if you want to, we have them.
well, we do. But we wanted to start tasting some wine on video, share our thoughts. There's tons of wine information out there, tons of people tasting wine, reviewing wines, talking about wines. We're just going to add to that morass of garbage. So that's what it is. If you're local, fantastic. Come and patronize us. If you're not local, just thumbs up and like us and follow us. But we're going to start with a great wine. It's been unseasonably warm here in Wisconsin, and Lorene drinks a ton more. By the way, should we introduce ourselves?
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Lorene. And this is my husband, Ron.
Lorene is the owner, proprietor, boss lady at Vino Latte in Wausau, Wisconsin. We've been in business for 20 years. It was 20 years this past November. Started off as a really small wine store, coffee shop, wine boutique, and have grown, had 2 locations at one point in time, reduced down to 1 location. For those of you that know us, you know all this, but for those of you that don't, that's a very, very extraordinarily brief history. And I'm Ron. I'm just the owner's husband, and that's my tagline on all my emails. I fix things, I lift things, and I, most importantly, drink things.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so we're gonna start off, because it's been sort of unseasonably warm in Wisconsin lately, and Lorene drinks a lot of white wine anyway. We thought we would do something that is gonna be fabulous today, but probably a little bit better when the weather really warms up and we have an opportunity to sit on the patio, sit on the deck in the heat, in the summer heat, and sip something cool and refreshing.
and reason number 2 that we're doing this wine is because I made a bolognese, a white sauce bolognese, and it needs white wine, and we did not have one open. So that's the second reason we're doing this.
Okay. You wanna talk about the wine?
So I haven't smelled or tasted it yet, but it is from Copan.
Copan?
It's Copan.
Copan.
Copan. Yep. Copan wines in Russian River Valley. And
See if I can get that to focus for you. You can talk.
and
while I do.
winemaker Ryan Zapaltis. He is somebody we actually are familiar with and know and have a lot of respect for a couple of reasons. One, he makes great wines, but also he is from Wisconsin. He has told us a little bit about his story, but in a nutshell, he is from,
Eau Claire.
yes, the western part of the state, and he moved out to California many years ago to become a professional skateboarder. I don't know if that ever happened, but what did happen is he became a winemaker, and he does amazing things. He is now the winemaker at Copan, and this is one of his newest projects.
This is the 2022 Daybreak Sonoma County White Blend. And we've got the text sheet here, so it's not that we have to memorize everything. And then we always encourage, if you want to be a conscientious consumer and learn about wine as you sip, we always say, so like, you know, you drink and think. Most winery websites have, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, they have a bunch of things like the contact us, the disclaimers, everything, but they often have a trade section, like a trade tools. Click on that, you can find text sheets, and that's where you can find a lot of information that's not just in the, I'll say, the consumer side of when you're shopping or you're looking at the wine information. Sometimes it's intermixed, but oftentimes you can go there. So we do have a text sheet. I have not tasted this since we tasted it with the rep that brought it in.
I had not either. And I did not remember it as well as I should for tonight, so that's why I am revisiting and kind of reformulating what I think about it.
Right. So since this is our first one, we're probably going to ramble a little bit more than we normally will, but we'll try not to do that too much and just get onto the wine. So again, the 2022 Daybreak White Blend from Copan Wines in Sonoma County. Ryan Zapaltis, the winemaker. He was, if you follow a little bit of Ryan Zapaltis' history, other than him wanting to become a professional skateboarder, he was an assistant winemaker at Siduri and did a lot of stuff for Adam Lee at Siduri. Started his own label, Zapaltis, where he specialized in a lot of Pinot Noir and some other things, but I think mostly Pinot. And I think that's still in production. I know we still have some in our wine fridge.
Yeah, but just because we have it in the wine fridge doesn't mean it's still in
That could
production.
be.
So we
Ryan, send us an email.
Yeah, let us
I
know.
think it is. We haven't been in business for 20 years. We use about 13, 14 different distributors. Our wines in the shop, like come and go, things ebb and flow. It's all about what the reps are showing us. We have a finite amount of space, so we can't have an infinite amount of wines. Well, we have an infinite amount of wines. They're just not always there all the time, all of them. They sort of come and go.
So on to our wine.
Talk about the wine.
So this is as I said, a project that Ryan has mentioned he has wanted to do for a while. And this is the first vintage of it. A couple quick notes. It did get 92 points by Wine Enthusiast. It retails for approximately $30. We have it in the shop at $29.99. There were only 619 cases of this wine made, so it is kind of unique. And from what I understand, Ryan hopes to continue it. I do not have my glasses on, so I cannot read all of the varietals here and the percentages, so you will have to do that.
I can do that. Ryan's little note here. He says that for years he's dreamt about making a white blend that is highly aromatic, flavorful, exciting, a wine that builds upon different varieties from different, it's acidic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm drooling while I'm reading. From different origins to become everything a Copan wine should be. Nuanced, balanced, most of all delicious. Welcome to the first vintage of Daybreak. So this is a blend of more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different varietals from 4 different AVAs in Sonoma County. So it's 18% Gewürztraminer, 18% Viognier, 14% Chenin Blanc, 14% Riesling, 14% Pinot Gris, 14% Sauvignon Blanc, and 8% Chardonnay. Vineyard AVAs, Sonoma County, Alexander Valley, Russian River Valley, Sonoma Valley, and Sonoma Coast.
So a little bit of a kitchen sink blend. That's kind of what Ron calls them. Interesting blend. And I will tell you, I am remembering now that it is delightful and I still really enjoy it. Very aromatic. A lot of aroma, a lot of honeysuckle, peach, maybe a little apricot.
Yeah, stone fruit type things. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know the tasting note says orange, and I don't think I get orange. I was working out in the garage, and I used some of that fast orange gritty soap on my hands. I've washed my hands a couple times since just to get that off. So I don't think it's coming. It might be coming from my hands. I also had gasoline on my hands. I'm not getting any gasoline.
So probably not gasoline, but no. Maybe a little bit of orange zest, perhaps. And actually, I probably got a little more orange on the palate than on the nose. I'm really getting a lot of even honeysuckle, and also honey on the nose.
So we've used a lot of words to describe a wine. And one of the things we always say is that the more words you use to describe a wine, probably the better the wine is. If you don't have much to say about a wine, chances are it's not much of a wine. If you have a lot to say about a wine, it's usually pretty good, well made. I find that with all those varietals, there are a couple that stand out. You said honeysuckle and things like that. That's very, I think, Gewürztraminer and Viognier.
Yes.
The body, I think, represents Viognier. It's a little viscous, a little heavy, a little oily. In the glass, you can kind of see it. But then there's that backbone of acidity that's obviously coming from things like the Riesling. Some Chenin Blanc adds a lot of structure to it. Chardonnay is oftentimes a really softish varietal. Chardonnay for a winemaker is one of those that they can do a lot with oak and malolactic and how you age it and all sorts of things.
Chardonnay is a little bit nondescript. It's really what the winemaker wants it to be.
Right.
It's very versatile.
Very malleable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would agree. I also think it is definitely showing the Gewürztraminer and the Viognier. Delightful. Acidic, as it should be. It's going to be delightful in my bolognese, I am sure.
So interesting, the vineyard notes, and this could be copy editor or whoever, the vineyard notes actually say, celebrates the terroir driven, and then it says you get the aromatics from the Viognier and Gewürztraminer. Aromatics, all those aromas that she was talking about, some of the floral things like that. There are a number of varietals that are generically referred to as the sort of aromatic varietals. Viognier, Gewürztraminer, Riesling, those. But then it says, so it gets aromatics from Viognier, Gewürztraminer, acidity and brightness from Sauvignon Blanc and Riesling.
I don't think there was any Sauvignon Blanc.
There is. There's 14% Sauvignon Blanc.
Oh, okay.
Which is absolutely clear. But then it says mid-palate intrigue from Pinot Grigio and Picpoul. But the tasting note doesn't identify Picpoul.
So, yes, you are right. Although, interestingly enough, when I was on their website today researching for this, they do a Picpoul. So I'm wondering if that, like you said, is a little bit of a typo, or
That's okay.
let's try a Picpoul next time, right?
Picpoul's great. So winemaking, stainless steel and neutral barrel, some co-fermented of certain components, aged 3 months in barrel and 2 months in stainless steel prior to bottling. Yeah, so very simple, straightforward, not simple like the wine, but straightforward winemaking. Stainless steel, neutral barrels, co-fermentation, that's where you harvest grapes, put them together, you let them ferment together. That's a very classic thing in the Rhone Valley of France. Oftentimes, even with reds, they will co-ferment a little bit of Viognier, a white varietal, in with the Syrahs and things like that. So it's nice. It's like the tasting sheet says, very aromatic. I really like the mouthfeel more than anything. It's sorry.
He's usually really good about refilling my glass. Although I do have a rule, no wine on top of my wine. And so the fact that I had a swallow in there, he knows my rule. I'm sure he was thinking no wine on top of the wine.
No, I just wasn't thinking, clearly. Yeah, no, she does that, no wine on her wine, so that she can keep track of how many glasses she's had.
Yes.
That way when she goes through a glass, she knows that's one. Then, it's simple math, right? The only time I cheat is if she goes to the bathroom or something while we're drinking and she's got a little bit, I'll pour a little bit. And then she asks, did you put wine on my wine? No, I'd never do that.
Do that. So on to a little bit more about what we taste. I think what I am smelling is almost exactly what I'm tasting. I do get a little bit more orange on the palate than I did on the nose. I still get the honey. I still get the, I didn't think I said this, lemon or lime. I can't tell which I get on the palate. I don't think I got that as much on the nose. And I don't really get as much floral on the palate as I did on the nose.
Right.
Still peachy, apricot-y, something along those lines.
For a food pairing, what is recommended on the tasting sheet, and I think Lorene mentioning lime is really good. And the body of this could hold up to something that's a little bit heavier, but yet that acid and that bright character could go the light way. So they say, enjoy this wine, perfect sunny day wine that will pair effortlessly with ceviche, which you said the lime, I thought that was interesting. Creamy cheeses, chips and guacamole, and Mediterranean fare.
And it's going to be really great with my bolognese, which is made with pancetta and ground pork. It's going to be delightful with that.
It's going to be, yes.
And it's great in my glass. So
All right. Anything else you want to say about it?
pick up a bottle from your local small boutique shop or store.
Yeah, if you're local, we'd love to see you. If you're not local, build a relationship with a small store. I know I'm on lots of pages on Facebook and other things. People talk about all the big box stores, going to Costco and things like that, and where they find things. Best thing to do, our opinion, we're a little bit obviously slanted. Build a relationship. Get to know the people that work in your wine stores, your local wine stores, and they are responsive. So if you say, hey, I want to try this wine, they don't have it, they can seek it out.
The only other thing I want to say about the wine before we say goodnight is that I did read one thing that somebody believed this would last, and be drinkable until about 2030, drinking well until about 2030. I personally like my wine young. It's drinking amazingly right now. I would go another couple years. I do find that with Riesling, a little age gets a little more petrol, and with the fact that this has, and again, no glasses, how much Riesling? 14%, did you say?
14%, yep.
I personally would not like to see it more than a few more years. I would not go another 7 years on it.
I wouldn't do. I think I mean, when you age a wine, the reason you age a wine is sort of because it will change and improve.
And it's fun.
And it's fun. And it's fun to go back and revisit and, do vertical tastings of different vintages. But ultimately, for the common consumer, we're not collectors. Collectors age wine. But generally speaking, for the vast majority of consumer-based wines and white wines especially, are really not meant to age. It's interesting. More importantly, know that if this thing sits in your cooler, your basement, someplace cool, stored well, for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, it's not going to go bad. I don't know if it's going to change a lot.
Oh, I don't think it's going to change a lot either.
And to me, that's the
until
point.
The Riesling starts getting a little more age. That's where I
Sure.
think it's going to be
Sure.
a little. Oh, I just got Salinity. Way more mineral than I had 2 minutes ago. Oh, and that's really making my mouth water too. So, changing in the glass.
Yes. And I don't know, Ryan, you can chime in. You can comment on the Facebook page or YouTube or wherever you see this.
Or call us.
Or call us, yeah.
Stop
or
in and see us.
Yeah, next time you're in Wisconsin, Ryan, stop in. We'd love to see you.
So,
Do a tasting, do an event. I think that's it. So we're going to try to do these a little bit more often. Sometimes it'll be both of us. Sometimes it'll just be me. I doubt if it'll ever just be Lorene. She made me wear a collared shirt today. You won't always see me in a collared shirt.
good night.
This is a one take. We're going to try to do all these in one take. And so I don't have to do a lot of editing. That's not the point of this. The point is to drink wine, share thoughts, and hopefully introduce you to something fresh and new and different. Questions, comments, below on the page, email, stop in, whatever it takes. Thanks for joining us, and cheers.
Cheers. Good night.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, I love Salinity.